very much, Psychologies, for inviting me, for putting up this, this event. But I must say it's always very challenging to give a presentation after such a warm and lovely introduction. And I'd like to share with you, and perhaps for future reference, Arnaud, what is the best introduction I've ever had. So I was giving a lecture in a large high-tech company, and the CEO walked up to the stage to introduce me, and he said the following. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We brought in Dr. Tal Ben Shahar today, and we brought him in because he's the cheapest speaker we found. So after that, I could do no wrong. Today it's a little bit more challenging, but I will do my best, I promise. I would like to speak to you today about what to me is the most pressing and important aspect of positive psychology and, to my mind, of psychology as a whole. And that is about attaining lasting change. I first started thinking about this topic in 1999, which is when I read an article written in Fast Company magazine by Peter Senge, professor from MIT. In 1989, Peter Senge wrote a book called The Fifth Discipline. It was about learning organizations, how important it is for companies, for individuals to learn constantly, to always grow if they were to remain competitive in the marketplace. The book became a bestseller overnight, translated into dozens of languages, a bestseller in France, in the US, in China, in Australia. The book changed people's understanding of what it takes for an organization and for an individual to succeed in the 20th and going into the 21st century. And to celebrate the success, Fast Company asked Peter Senge to write a retrospective about the 10 years since the book was published. The article was, to put it mildly, pessimistic. And what he wrote there was that over the last 10 years, he had been traveling the world, giving lectures, workshops, seminars, that his team from MIT has been traveling the globe, teaching people about learning organizations and its importance. And he says that everywhere they went, east, west, north, south, everywhere they went, there was an incredible reception toward his ideas. People got really excited about the book, about the idea, were really committed to bring about change, whether it was in their organization or at home in their personal lives. And yet, out of the hundreds of organizations where they spoke, who were so excited about the material, only a handful, only a few actually introduced change when he came back 6 months or 1 year later to visit. I must admit, when I read this article, I was distressed, upset, I was shocked. This was one of the top people, if not the top person in my field, saying that most of his experiences, most of his interventions don't work. The fact that change is hard was made even more apparent, even more extreme to me after I read a book by Daniel Goleman. His first book, or his best-known book, is Emotional Intelligence. 4 years later, he published another book about applying emotional intelligence in organizations, a book called Primal Leadership. And I will read you a quote from the book. He wrote, "Although studies have shown that real change can result from training, most of the time the change doesn't seem to be sustained, which is why it is often called the honeymoon effect. Considering that more than $60 billion spent in North America alone on training, this is a sobering observation. This is a terrible observation. 60 billion in the year 2000. Today, it's over $100 billion in North America. In Europe, billions of euros are spent on it. People spend countless hours attending workshops, seminars, whether it's this morning, last night, and many others that are taking place all around us. And most enjoy a honeymoon effect. So I decided at that point that if I was going to stay in the field of change, whether it's individual change, whether it's organizational change, I need to study this and to understand whether there was a way for lasting change to take place. And if there was, how could I apply it in my work, in my personal life as well as in my professional life?